And fans, welcome to Sports Chat here at lovely Papa John's studio. We've got Scott Webb, coach at both Jacksboro Middle School and Campbell County Little League, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk the big win.
That's a hard subject to talk about.
Let's talk about Oneida. I mean, it's been years since they've been beat, period.
I think they were 36 and 0.
36 and 0 going into that Jacksboro game. I mean, and you know what? A lot of people don't understand the history of that Jacksboro Oneida series. There was a long time, as when we played at Jacksboro, that Jacksboro and La Follette did not play, and Oneida was the big rival.
Yeah.
And now that's become even more so with the TMSAA, the championship games. I mean, last year you all played Oneida tied.
Yeah, very tight. A couple of mistakes, or we'd probably won this ball game a couple of last year.
This year, finally, Oneida falls.
Fine. Biggest win since I've been coaching.
It's the biggest win at Jacksboro in years, and this gave you a big leg up on your district championship. I know you're going to take it one game at a time, but they've been the roadblock,
They have.
and that will help you, probably get you a home game or two in the playoffs. I think it's one home game you would get.
There's potentially two playoff
Potentially
games.
two playoff games, yeah.
Now, who else is in the Jacksboro playoff? I mean, Jacksboro, Oneida, obviously La Follette.
No. We have Jacksboro. You have two sides this year.
Okay, so it's changed this
Yeah.
year.
You got Jacksboro, La Follette, Horace Maynard, and SMMS. Eagleton, Lake City Norris, and Oneida on the other side.
So
So there's really no way to meet Oneida probably except in the playoffs.
In the
They're in
playoffs.
the championship.
In the championship or maybe in the playoffs.
well, it's just still, one of the most impressive victories I've saw come out of Jacksboro. And your defense is just playing amazingly well these first 2 weeks of the season.
Yes, the kids are playing with a lot of heart too. I mean, both games we've won, we've been down both times. We came back in the fourth quarter.
And-
It shows a lot of character for those kids.
And I've got to say this, a lot of times you don't see a quarterback that plays on defense.
That's true.
A lot of times you protect that quarterback, you keep him on the field. Shane Bowman had a heck of a game on defense.
He did.
Well, not only does he play defense, he's also the punter.
No, he's not the
He's
punter.
not the kickoff.
Kickoff. Yes. Yes, that's Elijah Phillips' job. Which he had one good punt the other night.
And that's something you don't see very often in middle school.
Exactly.
And I know the punting. Patrick and I are at every Jacksboro game. Patrick's the announcer. I spot for him. And we've watched every game for the last several years at home, obviously. And the punting vastly improved here when Scott. I know you're modest about it, but the punting vastly improved when Scott took over. And the entire kicking game. And Gustavo up here at the high school is playing really well now.
Yeah, me and Daniel Leslie, my first year there, really worked hard with Gustavo.
And Daniel was a good kicker in high
Yeah, he
school.
was.
He was. He could put that ball in the end zone when he had
He'd
to.
tell the kids that he competed with me every day for the punting job. He never could beat me at that.
Special teams becomes a huge advantage
It does.
if you can do it well, and Jacksboro's doing it well now. Strong defense, Shane Bowman, he can run, he can throw when he has to. Phillips running the ball.
We've got a very big line too, but they're
Well,
so young.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that line for a minute. I mean, defensively, they've been brutal this year. What is the McCulley kid? He's a sixth
He's a
grader.
sixth grader. That's his nickname, the sixth grader.
Big
You know,
kid.
that's shades of Austin Reigns because Austin saw a lot of playing time as a sixth grader.
Well, this past week, I noticed Oneida had to put 2 or 3 guys on him.
Oh, yeah,
He was killing them in the first half.
That first half, he was in the backfield making plays
And
constantly.
Trenholm,
Trim did a very good job.
you have Seaver. I don't know if he plays on the line or linebacker. Sometimes it's hard to tell the way.
He's big number
That
74.
defense
He
rolls
looks like
up.
a
74, that's Gary Seaver, yes. We got two Seavers, actually.
That's right.
That
Yeah.
play line, Gary and Patrick, and they both are hard-nosed football players.
Now, on offense, obviously the blocking, especially the pass blocking, has been really good.
Yeah,
Shane has had time to
they
throw
definitely
anytime
stepped
he's
up the
thrown.
second half and blocked for Shane. give him plenty enough time to, make his reads and get the ball to where you need to get it to.
I mean, so far the score has not been any big numbers, but you can't look at that way because these have been two really top-notch teams that you've played.
Probably the two toughest teams on our schedule.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about the Halls team. That, if you read my middle school minute today, the Halls team, it's a traveling squad. It's not a true middle school team, so I'm not even sure how that counts on the record, to be honest with you.
They're like an all-star team.
Because,
It's
yeah,
like
I mean,
Farragut and
Fulton.
Yeah, they don't play, they're not a middle school, they pull from several areas, they probably are fed by both, what people who go to Gibbs High School and Halls High School, both. And so they don't really have any structure like a normal middle school, so you never know about those teams. A lot of them are very, very good.
they go out and get the best of the best
Yeah.
that they can get hold of.
Right, I mean, we used to do, when I was coaching, when Johnny was coaching, we would invite Central's team like that up every year, and they would stay at, Lord help them, the Family Inn. And we would have two-a-days together. And that was one of those things that would really help propel those teams.
Oh, yeah.
Because that team, that Kelly coached at Central, he was a help too. He was one of the help to him. That team is what gave Jacksboro access to a fellow named Chan Caldwell, who had coached at LaFollette, and then we can coach with General Nayland over at UT.
Gotcha.
And when Jacksboro ran the single wing, he's the one that put it in for us back in those days.
Those teams like that, as he pointed out, they're huge. I think you played, was it Farragut?
Farragut, yeah.
Someone told me they had 210 total kids out for their football program. That was about a third of the team they brought up to Jacksboro.
And what they brought, from my understanding, was 49 eighth graders.
I mean, that's just not something, I don't know what the result, I'm confident Jacksboro probably can actually beat Halls this week as well as they're playing. But you never know because that team is liable to be loaded with all-stars from all over Knoxville.
That's true.
And I'm not sure how that counts on your record because of it not being a middle school. I don't know why Rutledge had to cancel. I mean, it's a long road trip for them to schedule to start with.
Well, from my understanding, they just got a head coach 3 weeks ago for the team.
That does make it tough.
on them. So I guess I can't blame them for that.
Well, now, shifting gears a little bit, you're also heavily involved in the Little League program.
Yes.
Now, how's the Little League doing this year?
Well, I'm coaching with the JV Hoppers this year.
That's the smallest
That's the
group.
smallest, ages 4 to 6. We've had 2 jamborees and 1 regular season game so far. And we've not been scored. So we got a little tailback by the last name of Wolfenbarger, and every time he touches the football, he goes to the end zone.
Well, he happened to be related to soccer coach Shane Wolfenbarger.
Yes, he was. That's Shane.
Who we hope will actually make it down here. I know they're still probably just wrapping up in practice, but that's the future right there. You see, I mean, that's how you build a program. And that Little League, there were years that thing, and there goes the time, ladies and gentlemen.
And I didn't touch it.
And it's just like we've done a wrestling show or something.
Imagine that.
There were years that Little League, I would dread when I coached to see kids that had played Little League come up. Because I knew I was going to have to reteach them everything again. But, I'll give all the folks that are there now, I'll give Brent Lester and Stephen Phillips especially some credit. That Little League program is actually a football program. It's like when Jerry Nelson ran it.
That's as we call our 6th grader at Jacksboro. He was coached by his father, Danny McCulley, through the pee-wees, the cutters and the pee-wees, and I really not had to do much with him besides just calming down.
That is, huge for football in the county to get kids involved young and early, give them a sense of pride for the county, let them grow up playing together, and that translates to success at Jacksboro and the Follett Middle School. That's success at the high school level.
Now, I'm not sure of this. Is your all's new field and facility ready yet, or is it still going to be playing at LaFollette one more year?
Well, it wasn't completed by last week, but from my understanding, by this Saturday, it should be ready to go. There for the East LaFollette baseball.
See, and that's huge to have your own Little League.
It is.
I mean, do you all go anywhere? I guess Lake City has their own.
Yeah. Well, that's a community field.
Right,
The
and
middle school plays
NAGAF,
there.
does NAGAF still have a team?
Yeah, NAGAF does have.
They have a field, but a lot of those places, You have to play at the middle school or the high school.
Yeah. I think Clinton still plays at Clinton High School.
Which is also a community field.
Yeah,
In fact, that's the field with the old Neyland Stadium turf on it.
turf is. Like carpet.
It is. It's the only thing I like about going to Clinton.
The only thing.
Well, the wins that you get there.
That's always a plus.
Oh,
See, when I coached at Jacksboro, wins at Clinton were few and far between.
exactly.
I mean,
From my understanding, then Clinton, Robertsville, and Jefferson is supposed to be back in our district next year.
That's what I've been told.
That's the strange thing about the middle school district. It seems like it changes every season.
Every season it seems to be, yes.
And we play the same teams basically, but it counts differently toward the district. I'm just glad the Avery Trace game is. That was a long.
I never had to coach against the Avery Trace, but I heard it's a long trip.
Yeah,
It is. I mean, they feed Cookville High School. You go to Central Time at that point.
Good 2.5 hour ride.
Yeah, and on a bus.
Now, this week you've got Halls.
Halls this week and
Then you've got, who's the next?
Horace Manor.
Horace Manor. Now, they're a team that they are really an up and down middle school squad.
They are.
That is back in your division rivalry too.
Yes. That's one of our district games.
Now, I think the last time they visited Jacksboro, and I'm sure he's gone now, they had a running back that was one of the best middle school players I've ever saw.
Yeah.
That kid made 25 tackles in the game and had probably 250 yards rushing.
And still lost.
Yeah, it's amazing though how much one player at this level can impact the team. That's why when you've got guys like Bowman and Sieber and the sixth grader and
The sixth grader, yeah.
when you got 4 or 5 of them, that's the key to success to roll up a potentially district title and move on to the playoffs and maybe get to the championship game as to go on every year.
On my starting offensive line, we only had 2 players returning that played offensive line last year, which is Patrick Seaver and Samuel Finn.
Right.
The other 3 are newbies. They're green. They've never played football before.
Of course, those.
Well, then we're subbing in Nick Lees, which he's played.
He's
before.
played. He took a year off.
Took a year off, yeah.
Of course, there's some football history there. Of course, we played with Sam's dad,
Yeah.
and Patrick Seaver, his dad played at the high school when Johnny was there.
Okay.
When I was there, he did a good football player, knows his way around the gym well. So, I'm to the point I'm calling a lot of names. I'm thinking, his parents coached his brother,
Exactly.
that sort of stuff, and that's.
Then you can't forget Jordan Bolton in that backfield, man. That
Oh
kid,
man, yeah,
he's one of the hardest workers we have anyway. He would stay there constantly if you would let him.
And that's another thing that Jacksboro's always had that a lot of middle schools do not, is they've always had a strong weight program. And you have to be careful how you structure a weight program for middle school kids, but it's always been done well there.
We still lift on Tuesdays and Fridays. And have a personal trainer come in Friday.
Does Tim still come in?
Tim still comes in on Friday.
Tim's pretty excellent at that.
And I think that has been a key and paid off in the last 2 ball games in the fourth quarter.
See, when I was there, they just sent me to the UT's strength and conditioning clinic, and I just took stuff from there, and I was lucky. I could always email Aaron Osmus and get that kind of information. But to have a personal trainer come in,
You don't see that in
It's
very many
huge.
middle school teams.
Did you make it to the game this Friday night up here at Campbell County?
Yes, I did.
now, of course, you have a special perspective because for years, because your son Cody played at Cumberland Gap, and you filmed for Cumberland Gap.
Yes,
So, I mean, you know that program well.
I did. Yeah, I got a lot of heck from a lot of Cumberland Gap people up there Friday with a Cougar shirt on, but that's where I played my high school ball, so I have to support my home team.
Well, and that's going to be a big rivalry, I hope, over the years. I think, even though the score was 41-6 this year, I've seen some Cumberland Gap teams that have just had some impressive offenses, good defenses. I spent time up there for a few years, mostly with the basketball team, but I know Cumberland Gap well. And any of you all that are Gap fans, don't let this game discourage you about your season.
and I'm not knocking Calhoun County's win, but when Cumberland gets into their district, they're going to have some wins this year. I mean, they're a 3-8 played a 5-8 Friday. They'll do good when they hit their district, I do believe.
Of course, they travel a lot in their district.
Far.
And of course, Campbell County this week's not exactly making a short trip.
No.
Lynn Camp, Kentucky. Now, Lynn Camp, they've had some good teams over the years.
But if you're looking for a fight, Lynn Camp's the place to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think we played them a few times.
Yes, we have.
It was awful.
Oh, you never get a good game if you're going to Eastern Kentucky. It's always, I used to play basketball up there.
I've never seen anybody run Mark Oakes down from behind and pull him down by his shoulder pads like the kid from Lynn Camp did.
It's a
You
different.
remember that?
Oh, I do. I remember that well.
That doesn't happen very often.
I tell you, I mean, we were talking Friday night of the game, you know, us, Les and Brent and David from WLAF, and if he goes, Chris from the press, we might have to huddle up and fight our way out of there before it's all said and done.
That could happen.
Well, give us your score prediction for Thursday night here. I'm just putting you on the spot.
Not knowing-
You don't have to.
Not knowing Halls all that well, but I'm going to give us 2 touchdowns.
That seems reasonable.
That sound fair? to you?
That sounds good.
We do appreciate your time, and we're going to hop off here for a minute, and we'll come back with a little bit more stuff. We thank you for coming up. We'll see you Thursday night.
Thank you.